So even though I thought I was on my Intera page, turn this volume down.
All right, there we go.
Hello, everyone. All right, so it's been a while. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is The Collective, and I am your host, Tiara, with my co-host.
Zara.
And we're back. It's been a while. How you been?
I've been good. I've been good. It's a lot has happened since the last time. I think either sometime May or early June when we last recorded. So
Yeah.
a lot has transpired. So
Okay. Enlighten us. What's been going on with Zion?
So started a new job. For those who didn't know, I was working at Apple, but now I'm actually working at my church, Word of Faith. And I've also become an ordained minister too.
Yes.
So
yes. Congratulations on both.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's been that. How about
How's
you?
work? How's that transition from going from?
It's been,
you've already kind of been working in the church,
Yeah.
but so how has that been?
It's been interesting just because I can kind of see everything from a full scope of everything now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool just to kind of see the inside working of everything, and just to be able to I guess work while actually in the church.
Yeah.
So it's different between like just serving and I guess quote unquote volunteering, but actually
Yeah.
working in the church is just a little bit different.
Is it harder? Would you say it's harder, or would you say it's easier, or what?
I would say it's different just because you're kind of you kind of actually do more things. Like at Word of Faith, it's a small staff, so it's like you could be doing one thing, but it's almost like you're wearing many hats. So you could be doing this, but you're also doing that too.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
So it's just different. I wouldn't say that it's like harder or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, honestly, it's probably become a lot easier just because I have devoted a lot of time towards church. So I'm glad that I can serve and still be compensated. I don't have like no $1 million jet or anything like that, or driving the Maybach. But
really,
yeah. But
really,
it's just good to actually serve people, actually making a difference in people's lives, but not having to worry about like where my next paycheck is coming from.
That's good. That's really, really good. So that's a blessing. I'm glad to hear it. Anything else?
No, that's really about it. How about you?
Just business stuff. Did my first pop-up shop like a couple weeks ago, which was good.
How'd that go?
It went okay. For me, I just wanted the experience more than anything. I wanted to kind of see what I needed, what I could improve upon, what the scene would look like, how the customers might be. And it did rain. Like, I just got my hair pressed. I had a dress on and it was just pouring down rain outside. But we had a tent, so I didn't get wet or anything. And my merchandise didn't get wet, so I was happy
That's
about
good.
that. And it was a short rain too, so it was like, it was quick and I was able to continue to move forward because I was ready to go home. When it started raining, I was like, oh no, we gotta go.
How long were you out there?
4 hours. Well, maybe like 5 because we had to be there early, but it went well. So
that's good.
Yeah. It's always good to do new things, So that, working on the back end, like with my website, and just learning new things about, SEO, search engine optimization, and metadata, and all of these different things and stuff that people don't think about when they start a business and have their websites and stuff. So it's a lot to learn and can be frustrating at times, but I'm getting through it, and hopefully I can meet some people who know how to do that stuff, so I won't have to do it all by myself. But hopefully. hopefully I can learn a little bit to where I can manage some things on my own, but I don't want to have to manage those things on my own, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Hopefully you be able to, honestly, hopefully you be able to make enough money where you can start to hire some people. So that way you can kind of step back a little bit and
Hmm. Yeah, that would be nice. By the way, if y'all hear anybody in the background laughing, it's my dad. He just, I don't know, he's on the phone with somebody and he's just in his own world. So I told him, I was recording my podcast today and he is upstairs. Now, normally when I'm recording, I'm downstairs and he's downstairs, but I'm upstairs and he just so happens to be upstairs on the
that's funny
phone
because
laughing.
I can't hear him at all.
So I can hear him.
Okay.
I guess it's
You
because I
probably
know.
you used to it, yeah. Yes. Like she know my voice.
Right, exactly. One of those type of deals. So yeah. But yeah. So that's pretty much everything that's been going on with me. Been working. As you know, COVID numbers have started to increase. So we are kind of burying ourselves for, the next wave of patients to come through. But I'm hoping that it's not as bad as it was the first time.
To me, it shouldn't be. Um, hopefully, vaccine or vaccine, that it's not. You don't have to kind of really deal with them out, and I really did last time. Plus, I feel like beforehand nobody was really prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you have the time to prepare it, it should be a little better.
Maybe,
Maybe.
hopefully. Okay, so on today's episode, we were going to talk about seasons. Seasons, that word, that term is used in the church a lot, just to signify like a time in a person's life. A lot of times we use the term season, like, okay, well, like maybe if somebody lost their job, this is the season, their season in life, and, like how to get through this season. Or you might just have like a really good time right now. Like you could be doing very well, business taking off, you're having a great season. But we're going to dive more into that and what that means and where that comes from and just the different things regarding seasons. So I did write my notes as usual. And I wanted to start in Genesis because to me, that's when everything was created.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when God was creating everything, that's when the seasons and the times and all of that happened, was in Genesis. But I did write like a quick thought about that, which I stated everything that God made in Genesis, he inspected. So, like when he said that let there be light, he looked at the light, he saw that it was good. So when he said let the waters be separated, and let these different things come forth, he looked at each and everything and made sure that it looked good. And so for me, I feel like that's how God does with us. Like in every season of our lives, he inspects us through every change, ultimately for our good, because he is good. Now, I was going to ask, why do you think that it's important to God that we develop and grow when he rules everything, when he's in charge of everything? Why is it important to him that we grow?
I feel like at the end of the day, God he's put us on this earth for a purpose. Even if you like look back like at Adam, like he was put on this earth for a purpose. Even though he already knew that Adam was going to fail, but even still, then he still had a purpose just as far as um, like I guess everything he still put on this earth for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the same thing like with us. And it's like we weren't just put on this earth just to be birthed here. Do we want to do and die? I think God has a greater purpose for each one of us. We look at some of our like more prominent leaders that you not hear about but remember. Think about like Martin Luther King. He was put on this earth for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That means he was gifted in a unique way that's really going to serve the world. So to me, that's everybody. To me, honestly, that's good and bad. It's just we really have that opportunity and free will to kind of do as we please. So it's like we can either serve God or we can serve the world, and God is really going to let all of it be used for good.
Yeah.
Like I was even thinking, um, I think today, like people who really don't believe in God, they always say, well, if God is real, why did He allow these, I guess, bad things to kind of happen? But you never hear if God is good, then why did He allow these bad things to happen? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's not even a question if God is good or bad, just because people already have those preconceived notions. But it's really just a matter if something is real, then it's supposed to be good. So it's like even like for us, I feel like God, He may allow things to happen just so He can really show His goodness to us. Like He's
Mm-hmm.
redeemed us, so we can go out and be examples of His goodness because He lives in us.
Yeah. I think it's like an important concept point that you made about Dr. Martin Luther King. Like he had his purpose, and I'm pretty sure that, um, his whole point in being here was not really for God, it was for the people.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty sure he went through his own seasons in life that developed him for what he was supposed to be doing while he was here. Um,
What would you say is like? I guess to kind of dumb it down a little bit. What would you say are seasons?
I say that seasons are like periods of
Hmm.
life. Like say for instance, you have a season of singleness.
Hmm.
You have a
I'm
season
ready
of
for this to be
being
over.
married. You have a season for, being without kids, and then you have a season with being kid. With having kids. What else? You have a season of maybe not having or being where you expected to be in life, and then you have a season of being further than you ever could have imagined. You know what I mean? It's just like periods to me is the simplest way that I can explain what a season is.
That's really like what I was gonna say too, because a lot of people think when you hear the word seasons, like fall, summer, winter, spring.
Spring, summer, yeah,
Yeah.
winter and fall.
So I was thinking about that, but it's like I like how you said it's really just more so of time periods.
Yeah.
So I was doing some googling. Like if you look at Ecclesiastes 3,
Mm-hmm.
it says for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A
Mm-hmm.
time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, and time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we have all these different seasons, I guess. Um, like if you really want to go back to like you bring like spring and summer, something like that.
Yeah.
But maybe summer for you, maybe fall for somebody else, just
Exactly.
because like regardless, like how you said how God created the world,
Right.
it's like the Earth is still on the rotation. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like what could be spring for me or summer for me could be winter for you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the hard part to kind of navigate sometimes, because we see that in each other's lives.
Yeah.
If I see you being blessed, but one of my family members just died,
Right.
it's hard to even be happy like for you sometimes because I'm in this season of great grief.
Right. Yeah. And it's like you said, it is hard, because we all have to navigate our individual seasons. And sometimes we have to do it collectively. And then also being compassionate towards other people around us who don't have as much as we have or are not where they feel they should be or whatever the case is. So that's a good point as well. Um, how would you deal with, like, say like you're in a great season, like right now you're in a really good season,
Hmm.
and so how would you deal with that, um having someone in your life who wants to be where you are.
That was actually one of my questions.
Mm-hmm.
um, I guess sometimes you really just you just have to realize what you can and what you cannot control. And it's like I can't control I can't stop time. So it's like everything is going to continue on, but what I can control is my attitude.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so I can choose to take on the feeling of being blessed no matter what happens, or I can choose to I can choose just to be weak in everything. Like I
Well,
can.
like say for instance, say I'm your friend, which we are friends. Say that your business is booming, right? And I just started my business not too long ago, and I'm trying to be where you are, and I'm just having like, I'm hitting brick walls every single moment, let's say that something happened where I had to file bankruptcy, God forbid. Like something like that. Like, how would you navigate that? How could you be supportive in a blessing season for yourself if somebody else is going through a season of turmoil?
I think you just have to. It's almost like it's math. You have to find the common denominator.
Okay.
It's like so. Not everybody is going to just be 100% blessed all the time. And I can say I may not be going through bankruptcy, but I know what it's like to feel like there's something better, and I can't reach that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like everybody has like those kind of feelings. Not everybody just has lived on the mountain and never been down in the valley.
Right.
Like we've all been there.
Yeah.
And I feel like really with the way to connect that is just really giving like a test. What is it? Giving like a testimony of how my value is and how your value is and how we can really connect that. Just because it's just gonna be times like that. It's like not everything's gonna be hunky dory. It's like that's just life. Like even for me, I can say now that things are looking up, but for a long time I was really wondering and pleading to God, like when is things going to get better? Just because I'm just down in this low place and it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Like now, I may be in a low place, but that doesn't mean that. Um, so that doesn't mean that I can. I can't think right now.
Well, I mean, I feel like what you're trying to say is that you may not be in that place right now, but you know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And so you could be able to relate that to the person that is going through that currently.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that's the blessing about being in a season, is because it's like, even if your last season was like bad, at least whatever happened in that season, you can use the wisdom that you gained or should have gained from that season to help somebody else who may have gone through something similar, you know? Or maybe that was a character building thing for you. You know what I mean? Like maybe you learned how to make do with very little, or you learned how to build in a way that other people wouldn't even thought to do. You know what I mean? Maybe you have, gained a lot of ingenuity out of just not having everything, but actually taking the time to think and figure things out. So I feel like that's the beauty and the blessing about going through tough seasons.
But also, I think that's why it's important to kind of share your struggles too. Not, I mean, of course, you don't share them with everybody, but share them with people that you trust.
Right.
So it's like I may not like the example you gave. I may not have gone through bankruptcy, but maybe I know someone else who did.
Yeah.
I connect, y'all to or whoever, and maybe that could be a way. So you can kind of see that not everything is going to be so bad, or like, or even just to say God, God is never going to end on a bad note. Like we go through tough times, but it's like we don't end at tough times.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Moving on. I feel like I'm going to answer that question. The question that I asked was, why do you think it's important to God that we develop and grow when He rules everything? So if God is in charge of everything, why does it matter that why does He care that we grow when He's the one that makes all the rules? You know what I mean? And to me, I feel like the reason why He does that is because He wants us to be a part of His creation, and He wants us to know about what He has done. and how we fit in the whole grand scheme of things.
Hmm.
I don't think that he wants us to be dumb in in his world, but I feel like he wants us to know him and to know like more about him and about
Hmm.
ourselves. And so that's why I kind of feel like he wants us to grow and that he puts us through different processes in order for us to grow and develop.
I was gonna ask something else to that too. So I was thinking that again, like his ways are not our ways. Like his thoughts are above and not below.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a lot of things that are done in heaven that we just don't understand. So I was listening to TD Jakes like a day or two ago, and he was explaining how Jesus had spoken parables.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Jesus had to speak in parables, and that's just his way of explaining things to us that we just don't understand. So it's like, you know, how he was explaining, um, what is it about like the the wedding banquet.
Okay.
So now he was, using that example to help us understand about how, uh,
It's gonna be when
yeah, oh, yes, exactly
he comes
how it
back.
is in return. So it's
Yeah.
like with what you were saying, why does God care about us like that? Well, to me, that's the reason. Like right there, it's just that His plan is just it's it's more than we can comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're always trying to catch up to God, so we're not going to catch up to His understanding.
Right.
So even like with us, like how He has a plan for each one of us,
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to understand that and really until the end.
Yeah.
So it's like even for me, I don't understand like what's God's doing next. That's one thing. Even as we're talking about like seasons, yes, I'm blessed to be in this season,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like the plans that I wanted for me have all failed, like every last one of them, down to relationships, down to employment, down to where I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
Like every last one of them has failed. But now I see the plan that God has for me is so much better. So now it's like it's even giving me trouble because like now I'm in a season of just following God just because I don't understand what's going to happen next. Like I can't see, 10, 20 years down the road just because I didn't even expect this.
Yeah.
So,
And that kind of makes me nervous too, because like
mhm,
sometimes like when bad things happen, you kind of like once it once the smoke clears and
mhm,
things have gotten better, it's almost like you're waiting for the ball to drop again. You know what I
mhm,
mean? And it's like so you're always on edge and but I kind of feel like I don't feel always on edge, but it kind of makes you in the back of your mind you're like, okay, it's good, but this or that may happen. And I feel like to me, it's a positive thing more than anything because it always keeps me humble and it kind of makes me remember to keep God first and just always, like, no matter what, like, keep God first because you just never know what may happen. Um, how do you feel about that?
I mean, honestly, really the same. It makes me think. If you ever seen the movie, what is it? It's Bird something. I can't think of it. It's on Netflix.
Like the one Bird Box, the
Yeah,
one
I
with the
think so.
blindfold?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like going through that, like I don't know what happened in the air and everything like that, but they were
Yeah.
really all walking around blind just because they don't know they don't know like what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
Like they had to stay blind. So like now I have more of a fullness, like of understanding that this is like a faith walk, just because you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what's gonna happen next.
Right.
So it's like even for me, it's like I really have to walk blindly and just follow God. Like even I've been watching this TV series called The Chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's so accurate to me. Like I guess how they portray Jesus, how he's really just down to earth. He was compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, I guess in a way he didn't really take like a whole lot of mess just between, I guess, like the Pharisees and the Sanhedrin and everything.
Yeah.
But when he's talking to his disciples and he really says, "Follow me," to me, I understand that a little bit more just because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You
Hmm.
really just have to trust God in this, and that you have to trust that what He's doing in you and for you is really for the best.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're not looking for good, you're looking for great. Like I can get good on my own. Like I'm confident in my own abilities, but if I want greatness, I have to trust God, and I really kind of have to follow Him for that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna put, like, I would say I understand what you mean when you say you're confident in your own abilities,
Then.
but I still feel like you said,
Hmm.
like you just gotta go to God because He's the one that gives the increase. You know what I mean? Like you can work, you can toil all night and day to make something work,
Hmm.
but really He's the one that says yes or no. And sometimes the reason why He says no is because it's gonna prevent you from, from
Hmm.
something bad, or He has a different direction for your life. So yeah, I agree with that.
I guess like a better way to kind of explain that too. I guess between like good and great. Like if I want to go buy a house, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident I can go, I can find me like a good house and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but finding a great house to where it's like I have like a low mortgage payment, like low insurance rate, everything just works out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be nothing but God to me.
Yeah.
So it's like that's beyond my comprehension, just because He has to work that out.
Right. Because yeah, you can have this over here or you can
Hmm.
have this over here, you
Exactly.
know? So, but yeah, it's like, who are you going to trust? Daniel chapter 2, verse 21 reads, He changes times and seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. Do you think people have a hard time understanding their own seasons? Is a bad season indicative of who we are or where we stand with God?
I don't think I don't think a bad season would indicate us.
Hmm.
Sometimes we just walk into certain situations.
Yeah.
Like even like with me, that I don't feel like I walked into. I'm sorry. I don't think that it was because of me that I walked into a bad situation. Like sometimes yes and sometimes no, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like 100% of the time if I'm in a bad situation it's because of me.
Yeah.
If you even think about, I guess who can I really say? Um, use David.
Hmm.
David was chosen to be king. He, triumphed with Goliath and everything like that. Got
Yeah.
invited to kind of serve with Saul. Did he ever see that the person who you were serving is going to be the same person to persecute you?
Hmm.
Like to me, that does not indicate David like at all. So he was, a man after God's own heart.
Hmm.
But he was in a bad situation because someone is literally trying to kill you, and you have so much respect for God's anointed.
Right. I mean, jealousy is real.
So it's like I don't. I think some of the times, like well, honestly, I feel like most of the time, if we walk into a bad situation, it's probably because of us. But I can't say 100% of the time it's uh, but because of us, or it indicates something that we've done. Just because it just could be another thing that God is walking you through something. Same thing with Job.
Hmm. I was thinking Job
Mm-hmm.
because Job went through so much turmoil that it was like, I'm surprised he didn't lose his mind, to be honest with you. Like, that was just crazy. And it would make anybody like look at themselves like, did I do something? Like, what did I do? Like, did I like disrespect somebody? Did I like sin and didn't repent, or like what did I do where I had to lose all my children? My wife is telling me to curse God and die. All of my friends are judging me. You know what I mean? Like, what have I done? But a lot of times, like you said, it's not necessarily what the person has done, it's just the season that they're walking in.
I feel like that's human nature too, to think that if something bad happened, it's because of us. Just
Right.
because the original time something bad happened, it was because of us.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
about Adam and Eve.
That's so true.
So now it's like we take that same tendency. If if I fall off my bike and scrape my knees because of me, not knowing that it could have been something else.
Right. Good point.
Honestly, it could be as simple as I got COVID. It was because of me. I mean, that may not be the case all the time.
You better preach. That is so true. Like, I've been with people who caught COVID, and like, you could just tell that they were just thinking. And I don't know
Mhm.
what they were thinking about, but this is in the ICU when they don't, this was when when COVID first started. They didn't
Mhm.
have any family members around, and they were just like in their last moments, just thinking, like, and I don't know. It's just crazy. And it's like they were here and then they were gone. Within like weeks, they were gone. A week, 2 weeks, they were dead. So it's just like, I don't know. But it's amazing how life can kind of make you just kind of be introspective like that. So, yeah. Do you think, I don't know if we ever answered the first question, do you think people have a hard time understanding their own seasons?
I think so. Just because I feel like we do things like by cycles, or we tend to record like different frequencies. Like if something good happens, and then something else good happens, and then something else good happens to you, you think we're just like in a season, like a blessing or something like that.
Yeah.
But if it's opposite, then we think that we're in, bad season. So bless you.
Excuse me.
So I feel like it's almost like we really lean on our own understanding way too much. Just like in uh, Ecclesiastes 3, it says it's a time for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like what you were talking about earlier, how there's different time periods of life. It's not just one long season like how like summer and fall is, but it could be something very, very short.
Yeah.
So like a time to be born, it's 9 months, like for a child.
Well, I mean, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In the womb, yes.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's that time.
Yeah,
A time to die could be quick,
yeah.
or it
Lord,
could
let
be,
it be quick for me.
or
But not
honestly,
soon, but quick.
honestly, like how you talking about, like with your patients who did have COVID,
Yeah,
it could be over that period of time. It's like because only God knows if we're gonna get better or if it's, time to come home or go to the other place. But
yeah. We're not
but
laughing about nobody in hell right now. We're
yeah.
not doing it.
But yeah, so it's like we just have these different time periods. But
Mm-hmm.
I think if we lean on our own understanding too much, we could really speak the wrong time of our own lives. And I guess to me that's very, very insightful because God just really just kind of gave me that. 'Cause maybe what I consider to be, negative seasons in my life, maybe I was really speaking it over myself just because I didn't know like what season I was in normally because I didn't necessarily ask God like what season am I in.
Yeah,
So it's like what I'm thinking could be a season of negativity is really just a season of preparation.
exactly. That is, yeah. Because this season may actually be your preparation season for the next season where you'll
Mm-hmm.
need to know those skills
Mm-hmm.
that you already developed in the previous season
Mm-hmm.
for this season. So, yeah. Um, I was reading this article, and this guy, Michael Frackarel, he wrote, he said, in Joseph's life, the plan of God was for him to rule, but before he ruled, he was ruled over. And that just spoke to me because I was like, yo, like, that is so true. Like, he had this prophecy where he was going to rule over, his brothers and all everybody. But he himself had to go through a whole lot just to be in that position. I just feel like that was just to keep him humble. Um, and I
Well, I
feel
mean,
like,
oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry, our job is to learn in every season and from every season. Yeah.
Even like with Joseph, it really speaks to me about how he was able to trust God like that, just
Mm-hmm.
because once you open the door to doubt, it's almost like you can almost like let a flood in. Like that, a closed door to doubt is really just can hold back so much. But once you open that door, it's not like the water's going to creep in. It's really going to flood just because you can think, well, maybe I didn't really hear from God, or maybe this dream was about something else. Like we tend to do that so many times because we can't see like our own timeline,
Yeah.
and we can't fast forward in life. So it's like we're always either in press play, or sometimes God does give us like the ability to pause, but it's not like we can rewind or we can fast forward. It's like we're just always either in press play or pause. And once we do that, if we don't necessarily like really lean on God for everything and really trust Him, this is when all these other things can really happen. Because how I'm looking at like Joseph, like before my relationship with God, before I really got to know Him, if God would have told me like the same thing that he told Joseph, I probably would have gave up, just because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
how I was told I'm going to be ruled over and I'm in prison because of other people. One, my own flesh and blood, and two, by the the king's wife. How does this correlate to me getting to this place where I can rule, where I'm a ruler? Doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It doesn't match. It's
Hmm.
like, so God told me that, like I'm gonna have like this wonderful life, but God is not always gonna tell you like the things that you have to go through.
Yes.
But honestly, like I said, I think that's to just keep us humble. And so that when we get there, like Bishop Bronner had said something, he said, whatever starts in the root
Hmm.
ends up at the fruit. So, like, if you don't have like those
Man
good
has way
qualities
worse.
or those good characteristics from the jump, when you do get to that place of blessing or you do get to that palace moment, like, it's going to show, like, who you really are inside. So, if you was rotten at the root, then you're going to be rotten at the fruit. You know what I mean? Um, One thing I was going to ask you is like, do you feel like in 2021, like where social media is such like a big thing and we have cancel culture and then we got all these people that are trying to be celebrities, do you think that people are constantly like comparing their season with other people's seasons and trying to mimic their what they've seen other people's seasons looking like?
Yeah, it's like, because to me, social media is just a whole bunch of people living fake lives. Like there's no reason for some of the people kind of to do some of the things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they are either entertaining people or looking to be entertained. Like, and for me, like I like, to me, you can't consistently show me all of your wins and then expect me to be surprised when you have losses. Like, to me, that doesn't correlate, just because then it's like, well, you done this, you did this, you got this car, you got this husband, you had these kids and everything like that. Like, so when you portray yourself, um, honestly, like as an actor or an actress, like on social media, but
Mm-hmm.
then something real happens and I see that in the news, not on
Mm-hmm.
social media,
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how all that kind of correlates to me.
Yeah. I do think that people are trying to match their seasons with other people's seasons.
Hmm.
I think it's the popular thing to do. And like you said, people are not going to showcase their season where they are not popping or,
Hmm.
they having like bad things that they're going through. So yeah, I do feel like that is the case, but I do feel like people also hold themselves back when they do that
Hmm.
because it's like, the seasons are all about developing. Like say for instance, if you're in the fall season, this could be your season of letting people go. Like your friends that are not really your friends, but that you just kept around just because you
Hmm.
didn't want to feel lonely or whatever. Like I feel like you could have let those people go and could have actually learned more about yourself and actually have been in a better place. But because you want to keep a hold to those people that were in your life for a certain season, you're holding yourself back. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny because it was a skit I was looking at yesterday. It was this guy. He got home from work. Um, I guess it was his girlfriend or his wife or whoever, and he had flowers in a Michael Kors bag that he picked up for him. So she had threw the flowers and in the bag back at him, saying, "Where's my Rolls Royce and where's my Birkin?" And it's like it's supposed to be a skit, but it's like honestly, that's really how people kind of portray themselves like nowadays. It's like I'm supposed to get this, or I'm supposed to get that, and he's supposed to provide it for me. And that's like it's so fake. Like, how are you trying to compare, your life um, to those? Like, honestly, they like a lot of celebrities do all that stuff like for social media.
Yeah.
You're trying to buy a $20,000 necklace when in reality they probably got on something that's cubic zirconia just because of how it looks and what I'm supposed to be portraying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess it's so funny to me because there's a former football player named Chad Johnson, and he said
he was the one that was with Evelyn.
Yes.
Okay.
He said that when I was playing, all my jewelry was fake, all of it.
Well, hey, there's some wisdom in that. Like some people will actually go out and buy the real necklace, and not have nothing in the bank account. But at least I can say if you putting on the front,
I got some followers. Yes.
If you putting on the front, hey, the money's still in the bank account, and you got something shining on your neck. I don't know.
So you're appeasing people who like you but don't love you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at the end, when something hits the fan or the shoe drops, they're gonna turn on you.
Yeah, that's true. Especially now, people are so quick to turn on people like at the drop of a dime. And like one thing that I really get irritated with is when you do have a person that does speak the truth, and because people get upset with it or upset about it, they end up trying to like not apologize, but they kind of like alter the way that they talk. Like sometimes you want people to give it to you straight and just say, you know what, this is what it is, and this is how it's going to be. But then when you hear them like trying to be like, oh, well, what I meant was da 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 da. Like, no, the real people know what you meant. We know, we heard what you said, and we got it. You don't have to like try to please everybody. So that's another thing about today's society that I don't like. And this is off topic, but I'm so tired of hearing about high value men and
oh my goodness,
all of this. I don't even know where this stuff came from. It's like it just came out of nowhere.
It came from one person.
But like, I don't know. I'm starting to hear it from a lot of different people. I'm just getting tired of it. It's like, where did this title high value man come from? Like, everybody is valuable. I mean, but everybody is so like money hungry and just like everything is about money. So I don't know, but that's a whole nother topic. Y'all let us know if y'all have anything to say about this whole topic of high value men or whatever.
I don't know why people put, I wouldn't say high value, but high expectations on people. It's almost, I guess, like with the high value men, I guess it's like if you're making enough money to support yourself and support somebody else in a life of luxury.
But see, even that could be seasonal.
See, if it's one thing that I have learned is that the drop of a dime, God can take it all away.
Exactly.
So, okay, so say for instance, if I was one of these high value like men and everything like that, and I was married to somebody who really only wanted me for my money, and I lost it all, that woman is leaving. She's not going to stick around. It's almost like, like when you're saying like your vows and everything like that. It's not for good or bad because it's bad, gone just like that. Just because of the kind of life you want to live. You're married to a lifestyle. You're not married to a person.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
that's another topic.
That's another topic for another day, y'all. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had. What? Okay, I got one more question.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if we're comparing seasons in the
Mm-hmm.
natural versus the spiritual, do you have okay? For instance, for me, I prefer the winter time because I like the
Mm-hmm.
fashion. I like wearing my boots. I like wearing my jackets.
Mm-hmm.
I just like it. To me, winter fashion is easier than the other seasons, and I can be comfortable at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then not only that, but I can light my fireplace. It's cozy, whatever. So I prefer the winter season in the
Mm-hmm.
natural. But as far as like the spiritual season, I would think that I would prefer a spring season because that's when everything is new in my life. That's where I'm looking for blessings and opportunities to come forward. Um, so I would say that I would prefer spring in my spiritual life or whatever. What do you think your favorite seasons would be in the natural versus the spiritual?
Spring.
Spring in the spiritual or in the natural?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, no. I'll say I like spring in the spiritual.
Okay.
I feel like that's a time of like building and preparedness and everything like that, and I feel like that's a season where you're gonna see growth in like the most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I would definitely say that just because me naturally, like I'm a builder. I like to see things being built,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like to me, like once I reach a level of knowledge, it's like I don't want to get comfortable just knowing what I know now. Like I want to gain more and more and more, not being like gluttonous like with knowledge and wisdom or anything like that, but I just like actually growing.
Yeah.
Like to see, just to be able to kind of see, I was in this place, but now I'm in this place,
Yeah.
and I know this because it's the season that I was in.
Yeah.
Um, Natural seasons, I'm a fall guy.
And why the fall?
I don't know. It's like it's almost like it's in between that season of it's not too hot, it's not too cold.
Mm.
Me now, I like wearing like jeans. I like wearing hoodies and everything.
Yeah.
If I can wear hoodies every day, I wear hoodies every day.
Don't be like these boys these days. They be out in the summertime wearing these hoodies.
Nah, it'd be too hot. It's way too hot. But yeah, I mean I'll say that. I thoroughly love like the fall time.
Okay, I can respect that. I can respect it.
Now some, especially in Atlanta, be way too hot.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
It's the humidity. That's why I'm natural because I don't have time to be straightening my hair all the time. But anyways, on that note, do you have anything?
I got another question for you.
Oh, okay. What's up?
So my final question would be: how can we prepare for the next season?
I think the best way to prepare for the next season is to take what is happening in whatever season you're in and try to gain something from it. Try it, whether it's a good season or a bad season. Stop and ask, like, okay, well, what am I learning out of this season? And how is this going to help me for whatever season I'm going into next? Try to have a positive attitude in every season. I think that's something that God looks at too, is number one, trust. Like, God wants us to be able to trust Him no matter what season that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to be honest with you, I think that's one of God's like main things. Like He wants us to trust Him and to know Him. And so if you can trust Him and know Him, like in whatever season that you're in, like He really values that, and I think He really appreciates that, and it just shows your it just shows your level of trust in who he is and your belief and your faith in who he is, you know. So that's what I would say is like, no matter what season you're in, just try to remain humble and just positive. And even if it's hard to be positive, try to bring people around you that are positive. Um, and just ask questions. I mean, there's people, I mean, everybody has a story. Ask questions. I'm pretty sure that somebody's testimony can help you too.
That's good. That's one thing that honestly I didn't think about when I was like trying to answer this question like myself.
Yeah.
Is really be able to use other people too. Like what I was thinking of was really using, I guess, like a compass. Like using like God is my guide, but the Bible is my needle. So it's like I'm really just going back and forth, kind of listening to everything because it could be like right now it's summertime in the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
but it could be I don't know, it could be like wintertime in Asia or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure to be honest with you. But yes, but you know, it's like on opposite sides of the world.
I don't know.
If you're on opposite sides of the world, it's definitely going to be um, different season. So it's the same thing, just like in the spiritual world too.
Yeah.
Like as the Israelites were led, you know, they were led by cloud and by fire. Like they had to rely on God the whole entire time.
Yeah.
So it's like only God really knew the path. I mean, it took them 40 years, which is only supposed to take a couple weeks. So it's like you see what happens when you don't follow your God.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now by following God and where He's leading you, it's like things are just so much better. Like that negative season that you think you're in doesn't have to last that long.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
so
it doesn't
true.
have to.
That is
It's
so
like you
true.
can really just rely on God and He can really change things in an instant.
Yeah. And one more point, it just kind
Mm-hmm.
of reminds me of when the disciples were in the boat with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And they were frantic at that point. Like there was a storm going on, and they were like, "Master, like, are you going to let us die?" You know. But even though he was like, he said something to him. I forgot what he said, but you know, he pretty much calmed the seas and the waves. But the fact that they went to him, you know, like, and they asked for his help, you know, like that to me is the thing. That's the key. You know, you have to go to God, like when you're going through all these situations. And
To me, I think that's like a funny scene when they were in the boat.
yeah,
How
I'm pretty sure it was a lot of funny things that
yeah,
happened that people probably didn't laugh at,
yeah.
but inside, they, you know, because they were
Because
so serious back then. But you know,
it makes me think. I forgot where I saw this from because I know it's like what I'm about to describe is it originally happened on a plane. But I'm thinking maybe it could have happened like in the boat too. It's like they were pretty much saying, you know, Jesus, wake up, we're about to die. And
mm-hmm,
I'm thinking Jesus saying, why'd you wake me up? Why'd you wake me up then? If we're really
mm-hmm,
about to die.
mm.
Because I'm sorry.
He was probably lightweight sleeping anyways. I don't
Because I'm about to
know.
say, if I'm in a life death situation and I'm sleeping, allow me to sleep. I'll wake up in heaven.
That's
I'll
true.
be good.
That is true. I don't want to be awoken if I'm about to. It depends on what situation, but we ain't even gonna talk about
Yes,
that.
but I
But
say this:
yeah,
if I knew I did have Jesus, like okay, I know I seen what he can do just as far as people goes.
yeah,
Let's see what he can do in nature.
yes. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you got something from our episode. Be sure to check out Gotta Have Faith Clothing. That is on Swell's
Yes,
clothing store. And check out Reflected Glory by Tierra. That's my clothing and accessories online boutique. And y'all have a blessed day. Y'all have a blessed night and a blessed week.
see you later.